how important the home really is, because they are the teachers before a child steps into a classroom. They are the educators before a child opens a book and sits at a desk. So home is where the heart really does start. What is up, YouTube family? This is your girl, RaylaMoore, back with another video and back with Let's Talk, where we encourage, empower, and enlighten. We keep it lit, but we stay enlightened. I am beyond excited to be back with you guys. I missed this. I missed interacting with you guys and making these videos. And January, like I said in my last video, was kind of a refuel month to make more content, throw out some more ideas. So I'm really excited what the new year is going to bring, and I'm just happy to be back with y'all. How y'all doing? How y'all been doing? Go to the comments and tell me. I'm also excited for February. I'm excited for this month because we're starting like a little mini series, right? The Four Corners Project. I talked a little bit about it, dealing with the four corners of relationship, right? The relationship with ourselves, the relationship we have with God, our family dynamics, the relationships we can't choose, right? We can't choose who our family is, but also those that we can, like our spouses, romantic relationships, and friendships. So today we're going to be getting into the first corner of relationship. I was debating on which one to open up with because they all are very good for different reasons. But thanks to a friend, wink, wink, you know who you are, they kind of gave me a new perspective on which was important and which one should be talked about first. And that is the relationship with our family. Home is where the heart is. And I thought about that, which everybody says that all the time, but I thought home is where the heart starts, right? Home is where the heart is first developed. And so that is what the title of this video is, and I am ready to get into it, dive in. Let's go. So in thinking about this topic, I actually have a story that I want to share with you guys. Now, while I was in college, I went for early childhood education, and so we had to have field experience. I chose kindergarten, and we had to put in hours of interacting with the children, you know, talking with the teachers, kind of learning the dynamic of a classroom. And one thing I found quite interesting is how different the children were, from behavior just to strengths and weaknesses and things like that, just being very observant while I was there. And when you think about it, they do have like Head Start programs and things like that. But kindergarten is really, for most students, you're about 5, 6 years old at the time. For most students, that's their first kind of introduction to anything outside of the home. That all that they learn in home, at home, is what they bring into the classroom. Hence why they're so different. And a lot of times you can tell what the home looks like based on the child. You know, there's just different qualities about the child that makes them different. That's really reflective of where they come from. And so I thought that was quite interesting because I don't think a lot of people realize the weight and the power of the home and of the family unit and what that looks like and what that represents for someone being grown up and raised. And in some cases, they have a very, very good example and a very, very good holistic home, while in other cases, there are things lacking. There are role models lacking. There are normalities that are being taught, whether directly or indirectly, that's having a direct impact on the child. So, you know, that formation of the heart. And one thing I know is that in the Bible, heart and mind can be used interchangeably. So the development of that heart and also the development of that mind for that child in those formative years are so important. And even during school, even while they're in school, they still have to come home. And so home, family, they're continually giving something to the child. They're continually teaching something to the child. And home is really where the teaching starts. Families and the dynamics that are at home is where the teaching starts. So I just have a couple notes here that I was jotting down as I was thinking about this. And of course, just to define, family can be mother, father, sister, brother, grandma, grandpa, whoever is in your home, whoever had a part in raising you. Also, just as another reference for those who maybe want to look at other videos that are kind of talking about these same things, kind of on the same wavelength. Beyond the Roles is one, and Root Causes is another. Those are two videos I did last year that I think will kind of add to what I'm talking about today. Yeah, so your family, it comprises of whoever you in your mind see as your foundation, right? Or as your beginning. And typically in a family, what you would expect to be provided would be things like security, trust, love, obviously, understanding, representative of safety, right? A safe space for you to be you. However, despite those factors, I also learned that family runs a lot deeper than just roles and responsibilities that we expect from them. I have what we learn at home, how to interact with people, so interpersonal skills. We also learn language, how to communicate, which is a huge, huge thing. And sometimes I think we can look at it and it be dysfunctional, but and that's with any of these things, we could be looking at something dysfunctional, but because it's so normalized for us, and it's just something that it's just the way it is, it's normal. Even if it's unhealthy, even if it's ineffective, even if it doesn't get you anywhere, it's still normal to you. So that is often what you carry and how you in turn communicate later in life. Dynamics between essential figures, mom, dad, parent, child. We learn what that looks like at home, right? Because whoever is in the home, whoever our family is, they kind of model that for us. Behavior. How do they react? How do they handle this? Whether you handle something great or you handle something poorly, that behavior, if done over and over again, becomes normalized to the child. How to express emotion. Am I in a house where I can really express how I feel? Or am I in an environment where I'm told not to cry, or I'm told to grow up, or I'm told to get over it? Right? And I think we also learn what to depend and lean on in the home. And that is, I think, shown through what's prioritized in the house. For some, it's money, right? For some, it's God. God is the head of the household. That's kind of where I fall in. For some, it's education. For some, it's drugs, right? If you're on an extreme side of the spectrum and you grow up in a house where, let's say, you have addicted parents or you have an addicted guardian, then that is priority in that home. It's not the child. It's not taking care of the home. It's not, you know what I'm saying? So you can kind of see what's important here. And so therefore, as I said earlier, what I've learned and what I'm learning is the importance and how important the home really is, because they are the teachers before a child steps into a classroom. They are the educators before a child opens a book and sits at a desk. So home is where the heart really does start. I also think something that's important to realize and to come to grips with is that sometimes we don't always want our hearts to stay where it started, right? Because there may have been some things that were missing. And oftentimes, I think as we age, we realize, that wasn't normal. The behavior that I witnessed, that wasn't normal. Or the dysfunction that was there, I didn't know it was dysfunction until now, right? Because now it's showing up in my life. So sometimes we have to take it upon ourselves to say, although this is where my heart started and this is where the formation of my mind and my thoughts and my perceptions started, I'm going to finish better, right? I'm going to finish matured and I'm going to finish whole. I'm not going to finish the way that it was started out for me and the way that it was modeled out for me. And one thing I love about the Word of God is that it really does put some things into perspective, because In my opinion, and in my faith, more than that, whether you grew up in a household where you got everything that you needed, nothing went lacking, first of all, consider yourself blessed, for one. But if you did grow up in a house where you didn't get all that you needed or wanted, things did go lacking, you didn't have the best examples to follow, I want to encourage you that nothing was wasted and nothing was lost, because according to what I believe, all things work together. Romans 8:28. And just to read it verbatim, it says, Romans 8:28, we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. That's major. That means that despite what you lacked, despite what was not there, despite what you needed or wanted that you did not get, there is always something that you can pull from it and learn from it. There are always some rubies and some pearls and some gold, and gold, you have to dig for it. You can't it just doesn't grow on trees. You have to find it in the midst of dirt and grime and confusion and, dysfunction. You have to dig for it because it is there. There's never a testimony without a test first, right? There's never a glory without a story. And I think of the life of Jesus Christ. I mean, he had such an amazing story, but he went through so much in his journey while here on earth. He was rejected. He was turned away by his own. He went to his own and his own received him not. He was lied on. He was despised. He was, he went through so many different layers of rejection. And there are so many other stories in there. Job, Joseph, went through all these different things to become who they were. But they first had to have a story. They first had to have a test to be able to share their testimonies. And also what comes to mind is the word capacity. Everyone has a different capacity. Even those who raised us, our family, or guardians, whoever assumed responsibility over us. They have different capacities. And at the time that we were growing up, they had different capacities then as well. And I think the main thing here is to not let their minimal capacity minimize ours. And when I say capacity, I mean the capacity to love, the capacity to give, the capacity to caretake, the capacity to do whatever it is that you do, or whatever it is that you're expected to do, right? Everybody doesn't have the same capacity. And I actually have a video of that coming soon, so stay tuned, probably sometime in March. But yes, so also, keeping that in the back of your brain to say, well, maybe their capacity is just not there, but I'm not going to allow your limited capacity to shrink mine. And, speaking of capacity, I think all that we learn at home and through family dynamics and through things that may be normalized that shouldn't be, or maybe good things that are normalized and, are positive and helpful and useful in life, right? Whatever side of the spectrum you're on, I believe that they have a direct impact on your ability to create relationships outside of your family, choosing who to love, choosing who to befriend, choosing who to let into your space, which is huge, right? Like I said, we can't choose our family. We can't choose the family that we are born into, right? But we have a choice in romance. We have a choice in lifetime partners. We have a choice in boyfriends and girlfriends. We have a choice in friendships, right? Those who we tell our secrets to. We have choice there. And so I think that's also a huge reason as to why we should always have a self-examination moment, to where we can take the goods and the bads of where our heart started and figure out what is the most healthy path for us and create healthy relationships with people that we actually get to choose, right? And so as I call this four corners, because it all connects, right? So we're going on to corner 2 next week, friendships and relationships and that involve romance. So I'm excited. We just connecting the dots, y'all. That's all we doing. But I really appreciate y'all for joining me on the first corner of this month. I'm hoping that something was said that encouraged you. And just remember that no matter where your heart starts, right? It's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? And so regardless of where you come from, what backing you come from, regardless of whether how you were taught to have interpersonal skills, how you were taught to speak in the language, the dynamics you learned, the behaviors you learned, how you learned to express emotion, all those things stemming from the home and what the home taught you, you can always choose to do differently. And that's the beautiful thing about choice. You don't have to be where you come from. You don't. That is the biggest lie I think people say when they box you based on where you come from, the home you come from, the neighborhood you come from. You can choose. Hello. To do different. You can choose to be different. You can choose to be a different example than what you were given. And you can also choose to propel the same either positives that you learned or the same negatives. But it's all predicated on a choice. It's all hinged on a choice that you have and a choice that you make. And at some point we have to take responsibility for those choices. As I said, there's a blessing and a lesson in everything. I don't care how nitty or gritty it was, how hurtful it was. There's always something to pull from it. There's always something to grow from it, right? And so, God, He gives me the strength and the understanding the more I find myself in Him to really be able to walk in that and to understand that even though it wasn't all that I wanted or all that I needed, I can still take something with me. But I love you guys. I appreciate you for your support. I'm excited for what this year is going to bring, as I said before. Also, I always put these in the description, but I'll say them here. Make sure to follow me on my social media accounts. I want to hear from you. I want to see y'all. So I will put my Instagram right about here, and I will put my Snapchat right over here. And also, if for any reason y'all want to message me, inbox me, whatever the case, you don't want to put something in the comments, I have an email, a business only email that you can reach me at. Maybe y'all got a panel y'all want me to sit on. I will sit on it, honey. I'll sit. Yes, well, I think that I can do that, right? So I will put that email right here, okay? RaylaMoore22@gmail.com. All right, so just want to put that information out. I will be doing that more periodically as I do these videos, just so y'all have my information if you want to reach out. Okay, I love to hear from you guys, and of course, come back to see me next week, next Tuesday, on Let's Talk, where we encourage, empower, and enlighten. We're dealing with corner number 2 next week. So y'all don't want to miss out. Turn on your notifications, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, share with your family, right? And I will see y'all later. Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for this opportunity to speak to your people. Oh Lord, I thank you for the wisdom and the understanding that was brought forth on today's Let's Talk video. And I just pray that it really penetrated the hearts of all who were able to watch, oh God. Lord, teach us, all of us, to really be able to look at our families, look at our beginnings, look at where our hearts started, and be able to see that despite how lack it went, or despite how great it went, that there is always something to pull, always something to improve on. There's always ways to finish better and finish matured and to finish whole than the examples that we may have been given. Lord, I pray that we would begin to intercede, get into a habit of interceding and praying and having mercy and understanding towards our families, for we know that they only did what they knew how to do, that they only gave what they were given. And so, Lord, I just thank you in advance for what you're going to do in our lives. And I just pray that in each and every day that you would reveal yourself more and more in our very natural circumstances. Be the supernatural in our natural. I thank you. I love you. I honor you. I give you all praise and glory. In Jesus' mighty name, I do pray. Amen.